ve şiddet tutkunu değiliz.
Biz de zindanla da korkutamazsın.
Your country is in big trouble.
Teslim olmanın sınırı yok.
Day 7 of the Iran-Israel conflict. Israeli strikes heavily damage Iran's Natanz and Isfahan nuclear sites. Putin urges diplomacy, calling for recognition of Iran's right to peaceful nuclear energy and Israel's right to security. Turkey's pro-Kurdish Dem Party calls for urgent parliamentary commission on the Kurdish question, pushing for summer sessions and cross-party collaboration before the recess. Amid escalating regional conflict and internal repression, PJAK and KJAR have renewed their call for a democratic solution based on the unity of Iran's diverse population. Rejecting both authoritarianism and external interference, they advocate grassroots mobilization, decentralized governance, and women-led organizing as the foundation for a just and inclusive future for all Iranian communities. The Cilo Glaciers in southeast Turkey, remnants of the last ice age, face extinction within 20 years. Scientists warn that global warming and uncontrolled tourism are accelerating the destruction of one of the Middle East's last surviving glacial formations. Learn more with Medya News. On Day 7 of the Iran-Israel conflict, retaliatory strikes have intensified, raising fears of regional escalation. Iranian missile attacks on Thursday injured over 100 people in central and southern Israel, with direct hits reported at Beersheva's Soroka Medical Center and residential areas in Holon, Ramat Gan, and Jaffa. Meanwhile, Israel's strikes on Iran caused major damage to several key nuclear facilities, including the Natanz enrichment plant, parts of the Isfahan complex, and the Kondab reactor near Arak. At least 14 Iranian nuclear scientists have reportedly been killed. Former Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman called for continued attacks until Iran's nuclear program and missile capabilities are completely dismantled. In response to the spiraling violence, Russian President Vladimir Putin has urged restraint. Speaking at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum, he defended Iran's right to peaceful nuclear energy and Israel's right to security, while calling for urgent diplomacy. He confirmed that Russian nuclear specialists remain at Iran's Bushehr plant. With sensitive sites now openly targeted and civilian casualties mounting, the stakes continue to rise. International actors face mounting pressure to de-escalate and prevent a wider Middle East war. Turkey's pro-Kurdish Dem Party is urging Parliament to form a cross-party commission to address the long-standing Kurdish question before the summer recess. On Wednesday, senior Dem Party leaders met with Parliamentary Speaker Numan Kurtulmuş in Ankara, calling for the Commission to begin work throughout the summer months. According to Dem's Parliamentary Group Chair Gülistan Kılıç Yiğit, Kurtulmuş expressed broad support and plans to gather all party leaders after his return from an overseas trip on the 19th of June to discuss the proposal. There is consensus with the Speaker that the Commission can be formed before Parliament closes and begin its work during the summer, Yiğit said. While the Commission's mandate has not yet been formalised, the Dem Party says all political groups are expected to take part in its design. The move signals a potential opening for dialogue and political reform at a time of increasing polarisation. The Dem Party emphasised that resolving the Kurdish issue through parliamentary mechanisms is a national priority, and that swift progress could lay the groundwork for democratic reconciliation after decades of conflict and tension. As conflict escalates between Iran and Israel, two Kurdish organisations, PJAK and KJAR, are calling for a democratic alternative rooted in grassroots organising, unity, and women-led resistance. Rejecting both authoritarian rule and foreign intervention, PJAK says Iran's future lies in the Jin, Jiyan, Azadi, woman, life, freedom, revolution. The group has reaffirmed its non-alignment in the ongoing war, calling instead for civilian-led structures, community defense, and democratic self-governance across Iran. Meanwhile, KJAR warns that state violence against women continues, with Kurdish political prisoners facing execution. Their campaign, No to Execution, Yes to Free Life, defends women activists and highlights how war and patriarchy intersect to harm society's most vulnerable. Both PJAK and KJAR draw on the ideas of Abdullah Öcalan, promoting a model of democratic confederalism that emphasizes equality, ecology, and decentralization. Amid a backdrop of war, repression, and unrest, the two organizations see a chance for democratic renewal, not through state power, but through solidarity between Iran's diverse peoples and a bottom-up movement for justice and liberation. One of the Middle East's last surviving Ice Age relics is melting away. Scientists warn that the Cilo Glaciers, nestled in southeastern Turkey's Hakkari province, could vanish completely within 20 years due to climate change and unregulated tourism. Perched at 3,500 meters in the Heaven-Hell Valley of the Cilo mountain range, these glaciers have endured for over 20,000 years. But today, rising temperatures, combined with increasing foot traffic, are rapidly accelerating their decline. The Cilo region has become a hotspot for trekking, cycling, and mountaineering. Yet, without oversight, tourists leave behind plastic waste, ash from open fires, and food debris, directly harming the fragile glacial structures. Often overlooked compared to the Himalayas or polar ice caps, the Cilo Glaciers are now a critical case for Middle Eastern climate action. Conservationists call them Kurdistan's hidden paradise, but say that without urgent protective measures, the damage will soon be irreversible. Environmental groups are urging Turkish authorities to implement strict visitor controls and cleanup efforts before this ancient glacial formation disappears forever.
Medya News Daily Review.
Biz burada şiddet tutkunu değiliz. Biz de zindanla da korkutamazsın.
Your country is in big trouble.
Teslim olmanın sınırı yok.